I didn't know why, and today I found out. So for that, I'm genuinely thankful. The other thing is, today, I would say that we are in a very, very deep valley in a crypto winter. And if you guys haven't been in the crypto space for a little while, this is absolutely it. And I know because I've been in the crypto space since 2012, and I'll kind of tell you a little bit about my journey, and I'll try and keep it less than the allocated 5 minutes. And I'll tell you, one of the most important things I've learned in this whole space is the importance of community. And I'll tie it into why, I guess, community is one of the very, very big important things when we look at listing a project or a token or a cryptocurrency or an independent reserve. So, when we started in 2012, 2013, Independent Reserve, it was an idea, it came from Matt Goss. So, myself, I'm a financial markets guy. I've been building regulated financial services businesses for a little while back then. Two of my best friends, Adam and Adrian, they've been at the top of their game when it came to building large-scale enterprise systems. These guys have just finished over a 6-year period of building a system that took Channel 9, everything you see out of Channel 9, the apps that connected to it, the worm, during the election debates, literally everything. Program management software where you can literally drag and drop adverts and shows and schedule things. So they built a massive enterprise solution for Channel 9. So these guys are at the top of their game. I was doing pretty well in the financial space, and we found out about crypto, we found about Mt. Goss, and we thought, hey, that there's this terrible thing. And we think we could do this so much better, from a technology, security, user front end, and to make it really a regulated financial services business. And here we were gung-ho, 2012. We incorporated a company in 2013. We raised about, not $4 billion like EOS did, but we raised about $400,000 for a cryptocurrency exchange, which back then, meant very, very little. No one knew what that was. Most people, the only thing that when we described what it was, the only people that knew about it, they knew cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin as some sort of criminal form of money. So most people thought we were actually building a Silk Road or a drug marketplace, that kind of stuff. But we actually ended up finding some investors that backed our pedigree and our vision. And we kind of did this thing, and it took us 18 months, and we built Independent Reserve, and what did we find? We found no customers. We found no one wanted to buy Bitcoin, and we found ourselves in a room of, 14 people in a dark little pub, and no one knew what you were talking about, and there was really no appetite, and that's kind of where really, my first memories of being in Bitcoin and, having started Independent Reserve comes from. And actually, those are the times that, that actually showed me the value of building community. I don't think that matters so much, so. So these are the times that actually taught me the value of building a community. And in my entire, and I don't mean just the time of having been in Independent Reserve, but my entire adult life of 33 years, my entire 15 years of being in financial markets, I have never seen an industry where communities have built so aggressively, where communities have been so parochial and people have got together, driven by, I guess, kind of almost political, almost religious-like attitudes, and crypto is just a space that have just brought people together like no other space that I've ever seen before. And I'll give you a few examples. Is that, I guess in this time, in this, so when we brought everything together for Independent Reserve, we thought, hey, there's no offering like this for Australia or New Zealand. We brought the technology, the people, we had regulators, we had some serious investors on our board, we had everything, and you know what, there was no community. You know, we thought we were solving some real problems. We thought, you know, we would enable Aussie customers to access crypto for the first time using Australian banks. We would make it super transparent. You know, we'd give them like the best of everything, a super smooth user experience, all this kind of stuff. It didn't matter. You know, it actually. So we didn't make any money for about 2 years or 2.5 years. We were, you know, kind of doing it tough, but that taught me the value of community. You know, bringing together people, you know, bringing together groups of people like this, and talking and connecting on kind of not right now. I guess what we saw in 2017 were overtly financial motives that brought the last mile of people in, but the people that get in before this, you know, the people that connect on an emotional, political, belief level, you know, that is the community that you want to start building, and that you want to do not based on, you know, that you're going to get a 50x return or you're going to do this or that or whatever it is. You know, this is the kind of people that you want to bring in by building a great product to solve a problem like what we just heard Sean and the M&A guys are doing, you know, to solve a real big problem. And you know, the guys that Generios here are one of the big reasons that we listed EOS on Independent Reserve is that, you know, one of the things that you need, you know, cryptocurrency, and it's right now missing in Australia. So right now, I think there are about 300,000 or 400,000 unique cryptocurrency customers, you know, wallet holders, exchange account holders in Australia right now, which is very, very, very small, given our almost 25 million population. What we have are mostly people that are speculating financial gain, but what we're missing are people that are on the merchant side. We're missing the mining sector, and this is directly related to what these privileged Australian, you know, this is a lucky country, right? We have everything we need. We don't have, I guess, 99% of people in Australia have access to banking, and you know, they have access to literally anything we want. We have, you know, very easy access to payments and banking and privilege and wealth and social security, and we don't need to do any of these things. We don't have a, this is getting on the kind of political side, but our political regime right now is quite stable from a monetary perspective. Right? It's because we've been stringently regulated, but you know, we have an RBA that's a central bank that's operating independently, and our inflation's in control. You know, we're kind of operating within the inflation ranges, so it's kind of hunky-dory right now, which means that we don't have the desire for an alternate financial system that's decentralized, and you know, so we have these good things, and which means that we don't really have a mining economy, like a cryptocurrency mining economy. We don't have this right now because we don't need to. But this is actually one of the things that would complete a cryptocurrency ecosystem. You know, the miners, the merchants, the consumers, the spenders, the buyers. You know, this is but right now Australia is a primarily investment, speculative, gain-driven ecosystem, and that's kind of what it is in Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then if you have a look at these things, I guess from a mining perspective, this is quite low, but I think this is changing. One of the things that excites us about EOS is actually the existence of these guys, Generios. Is that, you know, these guys are block producers. You know, these guys are on that sell side of the market. Sean, you guys are creating a use case on the other side where there are genuine users that need to be able to use this. So we're kind of genuinely excited. This is delegated proof of stake. This is not, you know, This is slightly different to the proof of work, primarily proof of work currencies that we've listed so far. So this is very, very different. We're a little bit excited about the slightly different key management in that the private keys in EOS kind of can be programmed to do different things, which is kind of exciting to us from as an exchange, because as an exchange we process a lot of incoming deposits, we process a lot of outgoing withdrawals. The way we manage digital asset securities, we have we have a whole bunch of our assets offline. We have a whole bunch of, I guess in some cases we have a hot wallet, warm wallet, these kind of things. So we do a whole bunch of treasury and security measures that we take with all of the digital currencies, and you have to, because we've been in the game now for a long time. We look after assets for about 120,000 Australian customers, so that number is very big. So there are a lot of customers that rely on us to do this. So that is why I'm excited about these guys, and that's why we listed EOS. So I'm happy that you guys can now sell EOS for AUD, and we can give you AUD same day, next day into your bank accounts without having to wait on Binance. And if there are, I guess, we launched an OTC desk a little while ago, I think the start of last year, which means for orders greater than 100,000, you can call up the desk and you'll get an all-in price, and you can have like within a day kind of settlement, which is pretty good, which will actually connect you to global pools of liquidity. So while our order book for EOS might only be able to do 100, 200 grand worth of daily volume, our OTC desk should be able to do 15 to 20 mil all-in price, one-click trade within a day. So yeah, so that's why I'm excited about that. But back to the community component. Community is really, really, really important. It is actually the one thing that I've learned in having started Independent Reserve in 2013, having that core ecosystem, connecting with people, bringing people together. It's, I remember rooms like this, and those people that connected, they were there because of a belief system. They were there because they connected in, the ultimate end goal and the value proposition. But and in the same way, we've kind of gone on. So part of having been around for 5 years, we did something else, and we wanted to build another type of community. Is that I remember when we started, we had literally no support. It was very hard to raise money. We couldn't get any legal support. We couldn't get any proper tax advice. It was very, very difficult to get external consultants to penetration test our systems. We couldn't find auditors. There were a whole bunch of things we couldn't do. So end of last year, we launched IR Ventures, which is our blockchain accelerator. So we essentially opened up half of our office to, I guess, companies like what Independent Reserve were 4 years ago or 3 years ago. They were looking to build great products, and you kind of good space to work with like-minded people, whether it was auditors and other kind of services. We work with the KPMG guys, Peter Zinn and his team, so they can kind of come in off your bookkeeping support and all this kind of stuff. You can there are some guys that offer grants and things like this. Will help you get grants for R&D spends and Commercialisation Australia kind of grants and export market development grants. So we actually have an event on the 11th of April. So if you guys want to learn a bit more about grants, you want to try and get some of the money you've spent back on R&D causes, or come to IR Ventures around 6 p.m. and you'll learn a thing or two there. But otherwise, don't forget the value of community. One of the key reasons we're around here today is because we spent so much time not on features but building community. Building community by connecting and bringing together a whole bunch of people that wanted to build the cryptocurrency space in Australia. We want to build a better ecosystem for Australian startups, and that's what we did with IR Ventures. We want to create a better Australian ecosystem and community to raise funds in and to hire people And that's why we've been talking a lot to the Treasury. So we've been talking to the guys at KPMG, Block 8, Piper Alderman, and basically build community Australia, build community EOS, build the cryptocurrency community, and work together, folks. Just remember, if you think the market's quiet now and like you're not making money, you may feel like commercially this is very tough now. Just wait, because you guys are still very, very early in this piece. I was pretty early in 2012, 2013, and we've been, we did it pretty tough then, but the rewards of bringing so many more people into this ecosystem, bringing so many new projects, and enabling you guys to build the next layer of business. You guys are building a layer of business on top of us, and the M&A guys are building another layer on top, and that's super exciting. And you guys are helping artists do more stuff. Very, very exciting. I say go crypto, go EOS, go Australia. Thanks for the opportunity. Have a great night, guys.
Hey, LP for PM.
So there's a discount at the moment? You've got a special offer for trading EOS?
Yeah, 100%. So we want to get the market started for EOS, and we want to help everyone out. So with a normal fee structure for trading on the Independent Reserve is 50 basis points, so 0.5% on volume traded. But for the next 2 weeks, it's 10 basis points.
Ooh.
So 0.1%.
Get in now.
So
Big discount.
significant.
Cool. Do we have any questions?
80% off.
Hey, I've never heard of you guys, but I'm really glad I have, because I need an EOS on-ramp and an off-ramp. But what sort of market share do you have in comparison to BTC markets or anyone else in Australia? So that's been my on-ramp up until now.
Cool.
Moving on
So
to Binance.
BTC markets.
Yeah, go on.
Thank you. BTC markets and us, we both started in 2013. They went to market, I think, in 2013. We spent about a year and a bit building our own platform, every single component of that platform, from the ground up. So we went to market a little bit quicker. So they've, in the first few years, they had 5-6 times the market share, but we feel like we're catching up every step of the way. I don't think BTC markets offer EOS. Yeah, cool.
No, that's why I said I'm glad I found out about
cool,
you guys,
yeah.
because now I finally do have an EOS on-ramp. So
Yeah,
great,
yeah.
awesome.
No. So I guess we've been around for a little while. We've been a little bit smaller.
Sort of
in
meant
terms
like in crypto exchange in Australia on-ramp sort of, I guess, markets. So I'm only aware of BTC markets, now I'm aware of you
Yeah.
guys. I was wondering what sort of market share you have within Australia.
So
and if there's
there's
actually any other players,
Yeah.
not EOS, I'm talking kind of,
Yeah.
the same bit.
overall.
Crypto.
Yeah, I understand. There is, I guess, a little while ago, Accenture did a survey, maybe about a year ago, and I think there were like 300,000 unique customers of cryptocurrency, or wallet holders, that exchange account holders, that kind of thing, and we're about a third of it. So there's BTC Markets holds about a third of it, I think. We're about a third of it, and then there's PointSpot, which is not an order book exchange, but they were kind of more of a shop. Although I'm aware that they, for the first time, enabled a deposit wallet, so you can deposit EOS into them, I assume, and you can sell it to them. But there are two order book exchanges, and we're, I guess, crypto OGs, and we're constantly, I guess, trying to improve our offering and differentiate our offering. And some of those things are, we now have insurance, so BTC Markets don't. Our customers are able to get a tax statement on their trading position holdings, which is an integration with KPMG, which is the world first, which BTC Markets don't. A number of things with you guys. We're in Sydney. Yeah, so we've been offering SMSF accounts for about 2 years now. So I think we've got about somewhere between 7,000 and 8,000 SMSF accounts. The feedback is we've got, I guess, the best feedback from SMSF auditors in terms of our statement. We've now built a read-only API, which means our users can take their read-only private key and give it to their SMSF, SMSF admin's portfolio tool, which means they can get all of their position data go real time. We're also looking at a number of integrations with two of the biggest SMSF platforms, which means for SMSF customers that use us, they'll have real-time data feeds back to their administrators and auditors, which means that their audits should streamline. But yeah, thanks for asking. Happy to help.
I'm sure you are happy that Horby ran back home with their tail between their legs because they tried to start an exchange here in Australia. But now Binance is coming. Yeah? So does that make you a little bit nervous?
So, Horby, it's kind of like it's a good question. Thank you for asking. It's a bittersweet answer because there's a couple of things with that. I'll tell you from a very independent reserve kind of perspective, we're happy a big international competitor that's well funded came into Australia and failed. They failed to gain market share. They failed to connect culturally with the people. And I saw them execute their marketing strategy and it was very, very poor. But I will tell you, the not so good thing about it is that the Australian market was too small. You know, so I guess from a financial perspective, they deemed this not a good opportunity. So from that side, it's not so good. So a bit of sweat. I say, I would much rather a thriving Australian cryptocurrency ecosystem where there are miners and merchants and the investment side, and buyers and sellers, and it's kind of happening like that. So I'd much rather have international competitors come here and take a market share of a thriving market, and I'm sure that will happen. But we're proudly Australian, and we always will be, and we're we welcome competition. It makes us better. And actually, one of the things about this terrible crypto market is it makes us all better. We work so much on optimizing our cost structures and optimizing our security levels, and we're doing so much on product development, and we're talking to, we're learning so much from a regulatory perspective, and we're looking at doing so many JVs and integrations into traditional financial markets, where in the first few years, we just didn't do that. We were just so busy just building, connectivity from our exchange, where our users interact, to the blockchain APIs. That was our focus, and now our focus is connecting to Iris, and connecting to Bloomberg, and connecting to Thomson Reuters and our Affinity, connecting to BGL, connecting to Class, doing all these kinds of things. But yeah, I think it's fantastic. It's keeping us on our toes. Welcome competition. I think Binance is coming. From the one notice I've seen, they're doing a cash deposit at newsagent style. Yeah, they're using Blue Shift, and those guys are like friends of ours. I guess my experience is the guys that are willing to pay 5% plus at a newsagent for a very small amount of cryptocurrency are paying for a premium for private. They're paying a premium for privacy. And this is not a market that Independent Reserve's in. Because if you've ever used Independent Reserve, which is we're all about AML KYC, but in exchange for you showing your identity, you will get the best of banking rails. You'll get, the best of transparency. You'll get the best OTC desk in the country. You'll get the best tax reporting done by KPMG, and you'll get, a far starters business that's now one of Australia's most companies. Ralph?
Yeah. And so talking about KYC, that just sparks a question for me. Like we've been excited to come along and talk about EOS, and we're so excited to finally listed it. And when can we talk about like Wobbly or some KYC blockchains and adding those to Independent Reserve? Are you adding any more EOS based tokens that now that you've got the technology already in place? So it should probably be easy to add more EOS tokens. You've got any
100%. Well, one of the biggest attractions is, being able to add, other applications on EOS, right? So we're 100% open to it. Our marginal cost of doing an listing an EOS project is now significantly lower now that we've done the work. In terms of KYC is something we take incredibly seriously. So we have an 88-page KYC operating manual, which is now independently audited. And those words, whilst they're just words, these are things that have taken us 3 years to put that together. Austrac have taken guidance from it, this kind of stuff. So right now, this is how KYC happens. So you submit your information. The first layer is the third-party database screening. That happens, which then, if you get past that, you're reviewed manually by one of 10 KYC people that we walk around Australia and only in Australia. For enhanced customer due diligence, we use Thomson Reuters World Check. And then we've got some other stuff that we do as well. So right now, we would not use a blockchain-based KYC tool because we know this is a very, very important part of that thing that protects us from fraud, that keeps us in line with our regulators, and we know every single part of that works. So I don't know entirely how Warby works, but right now I would say, and I'm the COO, so I've got to say, probably I would use Warby right now. But most of them know what it is.
Fair enough. But yeah, it's we can talk about it offline. Yes.
We can, we can.
Any more questions? All right, let's hear it for Lasanka, guys. Thank you so much.
That's right.
Well, that concludes our
Thanks for the opportunity.